Good day, everyone. My name is Sharil Lisandra Sakatropis, and I am tasked to tackle about English. English is an international language in schools and in business to deepen our understandings in which English is used as a global means of communication. Now, international simply means existing, occurring, or carried on between two or more nations, global and worldwide. English is a global language or lingua franca. So, what do we mean by lingua franca? It is a Latin word of European scholars until 18th century, but it was first introduced during the 17th century by the Italians and became dominant to the European scholars. Lingua franca is a language used as a form of communication between two groups who do not speak the same language. With more than 350 million people around the world speaking English as a first language and more than 430 million speaking it as a second language. There are English speakers in most countries around the world. To furthermore, it occurs this concept of English language as a global means of communication in numerous dialects and a movement towards international standard for languages. It also referred to as Global English, World English, Common English, Continental English, General English, ENGAS, or English as Associate Language or Globish, and for us, it is the most common language on the internet, and it is also the language of international travelers with different native languages to better communicate with each other. So that is the very definition of a lingua franca. But how did English reach this kind of status? So that is the question that we'll tackle about. Well, it's partly because of the role of United States of America as a global superpower, but the states said earlier than that. In the 16th century, England started to establish overseas colonies, and by the end of 18th century, the British Empire had grown quite extensive. It is more on the history now, no? As we tackle about why English reached this kind of status. The had also colonized the area of New Netherlands. It was lost to the British in the late 17th century. There were also non-British immigrants to the British colonies rather of North America, like German-speaking immigrants. The British were not the only one who established colonies. Of course, much of the present day Canada in the US was the New France, a large area that has been colonized by the French, but this area were lost to the British during the Seven Years' War, and much of what is now southern and western United States was colonized by the Spanish, but these areas were taken by the United States in wars with Spain and later Mexico. While there were numerous languages spoken by settlers, English became the dominant language in the United States. All right. In 1920s, the British Empire covered almost a quarter of the earth and about one-fifth of the world's population, and some of these countries became populated by English settlers. Other countries were not populated by permanent settlers, only by the administrative, military, and commercial personnel. Generally, in these countries, English did not become the single dominant language but became a prestige language and a convenient lingua franca that could facilitate communication among the linguistic diverse populations. So, English was not the only colonial language gaining a foothold throughout the world, but along with French and Spanish, it was one of the main ones. All right. It is hard to imagine a language other than of this become the global lingua franca. English was not the only colonial language gaining a foothold throughout the world, but along with French and Spanish, it was the main ones. Though I already mentioned that after the war and the Treaty of Versailles was written not only in French but also in English. This signifies as the language of diplomacy. It was after the World War II when English really began to develop into the main global lingua franca as the United States developed more fully into a world superpower. And the United States military maintains the presence of Europe to assist in reconstruction efforts. All right. This is largely because of the English language mass media, no? As well as English as a second language course now being a part of school curriculum in many countries. English education has continued to increase in response to the growing importance of English. All right. Now, the last one of the last remaining obstacles that English is truly becoming the world language was the USSR, or the Soviet Socialist Republics during the Cold War. No? Russian was the lingua franca in most of the USSR's member states. And today, over 96% of scientific articles are written in English. It is in the past over a couple of decades. Globalization has solidified the position of English as a global language. So the internet has accelerated that trend, and English as the most common language online. All right. Now, while learning English language is very important, so these are the reasons why. It could give a perfect communication. It is important to speak effectively. People get impressed by those who have good communication skills. Morning. It gains confidence. If you own good communication, that is my son. Good communication skills, then your confidence will automatically be high. All right. You'd achieve your goal early. Effective English language skills help you meet your career goals quickly. No? Effective personality also. It it plays an important role. No? It affects also when we speak effectively in and with confidence, and anyone can get attracted and they will say, wow. Part of a global community, English language is a part of the global world. So if one knows good English, then one can interact with others. Multiple career prospects also, no? It has great effect. A person possessing effective communication skills have more career opportunities. Wow, than others. All right, no, it has lots of advantages, right? Than other skills. Mm. Now, let's move on. Importance of English in school. Why is important in school? So the main language it is for studying any subject all over the world. Okay. It is important for students as well as it broadens their minds. It develops their emotional skills. It improves the quality of life by providing job opportunities. Growing with time, no? Because it is only the medium for communication in many countries. And it is used rather widely in the literature and media section to publish books. Most of the writers write in English language due to the vast majority of the readers knows only the English language and they can describe their ideas best in the English language because it is the international language, no, spoken by many. All right. Now, let's move on the core skills of English language. As we are aware that English language skills depend upon the four core skills. And these skills are essential for learning the English language. That is listening skills. The first one, it improves the imagination and vocabulary of a learner. While listening, we use to visualize the scene and memorize in our memory. Second one is speaking skills. When a learner speaks, he gets to know his mistakes and he can improve it further. Reading skills. Also, reading a book, no? Uh, or a passage helps improving the vocabulary and concentration of a learner. So we should read more, no, every day. Writing skills. When we write, we get to know what we are writing and do we know the spellings of all the words? That's why we should write it down, no? Write uh, important notes, most especially the spelling. No? We should consider that. If a student master these four skills, then his English will automatically improve and gain confidence in presenting his skills. Alright. Now, lastly, the importance of good English in business. It shows your willingness to go beyond, no? Go beyond basic business standards. It helps you to communicate better with your colleagues, no? With your co-workers. Delivering presentations and speeches. All right, delivering presentations, no? And it comes to reporting, right? You tend to use English, okay, and to speeches as well. And next is good pronunciation. Always makes a good first impression. Wow. Now allows you to travel and it gives you an edge in other jobs as well. Finally, it allows you to express yourself in a language that everyone understands. Because, as I said, it is an international language. So, I hope that you have learned something. Thank you also for listening today. That would be all for now. Thank you and God bless.